Hey there folks, Elite Legionarii here, and today I have another Rome Total War 2v2 31k. I don't do a lot of 2v2s, but if you watch the last 2v2, I mentioned that I would be bringing a few more 2v2s, because I find them to be very good battles to kind of observe individual play skill and teamwork. Sometimes with the bigger battles, the 3v3s and 4v4s, which are very, very epic, which are my favourites too, it's really a team effort, and you don't often get to observe the individual skill quite as much in those battles. Obviously, if you want to observe individual skill, 1v1s are the best, but I find 1v1 31k is really only useful to me as a training method. Training and learning new things from other players, but I don't really enjoy it as a playing method. It's just it's just not as 31k is a team game, and that's basically why I don't do 1v1s beyond training with my fellow clanmates and stuff like that. Otherwise, I just don't do them because they don't appeal to me that much. But 2v2 can be very good because it can require that you still got quite a bit of individual observation of people's skills, and then a lot of teamwork as well. And this was an interesting one here because I took the Seleucids, and as you can see, I took 6 Scythe Chariots and 4 Arch units, and then I took 10 Silver Shield Legionnaires. So this is a very unconventional Seleucid army by any standard, but there is a reason for this. You may remember, I can't actually remember what number video it was, but about a year ago I uploaded a 2v2 I did with Mohammed, back when we were both in heaven, so it's going back quite a ways, when Mo was back in heaven. And he took Rome and I took the Seleucids, and we used chariots, had a massive mass rout. And I was thinking about that battle the day I did this battle, I thought, it's about time I try this again, and see if I can initiate it as well. So I've taken the 6 Scythe Chariots, which are heavily upgraded. I got 4 archers, and that's because one of my opponents is Pontus, so that's why I got 4 archers. And I brought the 10 legions for the exact same purposes as the archers. I've got Pontus opposite me. Now the reason I do this is because although the Silver Shield Pikemen and Bronze Shield Pikemen are extremely close, statistically they're identical, I've done extensive testing in the past on this, and for reasons I'm not able to fathom, there must be some sort of secret stat or something that you can't see in the base stats, but must be in like the files or something of the game. The Bronze Shield Pikemen of Pontus will win about 7 times out of 10. So I did about 10 tests, I did it about 2 or 3 times over a period of a few days once, and the Bronze Shields won about 6 to 7 times, so they have a higher win rate. So pound for pound, against Pontus, I'd probably lose an infantry fight. Well, it depends how well I positioned and everything like that. It would be very close, of course, but the advantage lies with Pontus. But the reason I take the Silver Shield Legionnaires is for 2 reasons. One, I want their Pila, and I want their Testudo. I want my legions to serve as a block for Pontus over here, so that Pontus can't Pontus gets focused on me. I'm going to use them in such a way that they're going to be always in Pontus's face. The Bronze Shields are going to try and keep them out. And I want to mix my archers and my Pila, and I want to shred the living crap out of the Bronze Shield Pikemen. And then I'll probably just Testudo them or push through if I get opportunities like that, because the Seleucids have these Silver Shield Legionnaires, which are nowhere near as good as the Roman infantry, but they are nonetheless very useful because they are still Legionnaires with Testudo and Pila. So I'm going to use that kind of diversity of the Seleucid faction here to give me some edges against Pontus, because Pontus would have the infantry advantage otherwise. I'm teamed up with my fellow clansmate Hades from Titans. Hades has brought his typical build of 6 Praetorian Cav, 1 Legionary First, and 13 Urbans. And our opponents are this guy over here. Hades was telling me he used to be the leader of the COR clan. That's going back 2 or 3 years now, where they were active. So he probably hasn't been active for quite some time, but I imagine he was a pretty efficient player in the past. So he's got 14-6. And then we've got IOW Immortus, Mortals of War Clan Immortus. This is actually Boo Boo. I think he prefers to be called Immortus these days, though. He's playing as Pontus, like I said before. He's got some interesting stuff here. I was expecting chariots, but here we see Cappadocian Cav. Very interesting choice. Not particularly good Cav in the sense that they don't do nearly as well as Cataphracts because they don't possess the mace. They do have a shield, however, but it still doesn't work out being that effective. And he's got one chariot archer. So that is the builds here, so let's begin. So in a situation like this, if you're ever using the solutions in a 2v2, especially if you're going to take scythe chariots like I have, you obviously have to have archers to deal with this. So Hades, I think, actually no, now that I mention it, Hades brought one archer unit. I forgot to mention that, so it's 12 urbans and then one archer. But Hades needs to bring all his infantry because my infantry is it's adequate, but it's not going to be great. So I said to Hades, don't worry, I'll bring archers because the archers for the solutions are cheap. You can max them out for really cheap prices, and it's unlikely. We looked at the build count here and we saw that this guy Margie Blizz, the former COR leader, he did not bring any missile units whatsoever, because you could see the numbers at 1472, which you know is a 14.6 build. So that means that we have I can bring missiles and Hades can focus on infantry. Now what we're doing here is, you can see Hades has just put this unit loose and he's just going to run the scythe chariot away, which is good. And I'm not going to worry about going loose with my archers. I just want to keep them back here and tight where I can easily protect them. And I'm just going to focus fire on the front row here. I want to try and make it so that between my archer fire and my peeler fire, that Boo Boo or Mortis's front line of Bronze Shield Pikemen will rout pretty much straight away. So that way I can just use some peeler on the second row and then Testudo him and wait for Hades to get a peeler advantage against Margie Blizz here, and then wait for the setup and come in from the flank with the chariots and mass rout him, and then Pontus will mass rout as well. There is one archer unit here for Pontus, but I'm letting Hades have that one. I'm going to focus my archer fire in on the pikemen. As you can see, this one has already lost 30 men. So I've got the Aragorn skin mod map pack on, so these shields are actually a lot smaller than they appear to be here. If you know what Pontus Bronze Shield Pikemen look like in the base game. Very small shields, so very vulnerable to archer fire, even on the front. So just amassing your archer fire like this, point blank on the front, is devastating. And now I'm going to just unload my peeler, auto fire, there's no peeler screens. And I just want to absolutely shred these guys here. So I'm getting a lot of peeler fire in off my legions here, and when he rushes me, I'll just Testudo the front units here. And as you can see, like, this unit's been destroyed, this unit's been like lost 40 men, and this unit's lost 40 men as well. So they're going to get devastated, and I believe I can just keep firing with my archers here at point blank. So the front row of Bronze Shield Pikemen are more or less destroyed. As you can see, this is already just loads of dead Bronze Shield Pikemen on the field. Hades is just pushing up, he's skirmishing here, he's just going to build up. A pretty standard approach by Hades. He'll just build up the peeler drill and get an infantry advantage, and then he'll set up for cavalry strike with my chariots on the flank. That is what we'll go for. As you can see, these guys I continue to throw peeler, going into the back units now, and I've got archer fire coming in as well, and it's doing a lot of damage. He's losing a lot of men. So I'm going to push around here, just open up some new angles here. What I'm trying to do here is push around, because if you look, it'll reverse his guys potentially if he goes far enough around, so there'll be rear shots as well, so that'll kill them even faster. Boo Boo would be wanting to be careful here. I've only got 10 infantry units here, so if I had been in Boo Boo's shoes, I would have been more inclined to disengage some pikes and just put them around here, knowing that the chariots would very likely go for Rome, because Rome is easier for chariots to deal with, because if you run into pikes or chariots, you're pretty screwed. So I would be inclined to do that, because if he stopped me from getting too much peeler or archer fire in, remember he's got this chariot archer, so I managed to catch it in the back here with one of my scythe chariots. But if he'd used it a bit more cautiously, he would have been able to stop it from shoot at my archers and just harass my archers a bit. Because now he's lost a lot of pikes, and I'm actually going to get in here with Testudos. I'm going to try and burst this one open soon. He is reinforcing here, but I'm going to get inside here, as you can see. Break it open. These guys should get killed pretty quickly. Hades is just pushing up. He's just doing his steady approach. As you can see, he's won the peeler duel for the most part. And he's just pushing his ways forward now, and he's getting nice peeler into these tight units of Margie Blizz here, which is nice, because he's going to take that advantage. And if he sets up an advantage here, when we push, it'll be that much easier to get the rout. I should have done a bit more flanking here, but I didn't want to expose my legions too far in case they countered with these cavalry units. All I really want to do, and all I need to do, is just make it so that Pontus can't really send pikes to help. I want to try and engage Pontus in such a way that Pontus needs to use all their pikes. As you can see, Hades is making some pushes in the centre. He's just routing some of the units that are vulnerable to cavalry strikes here, and he gets one or two of them. As you can see, there is now cavalry approaching up here, so my chariots are still well in the back, but I'm going to start moving them around now. One of them actually went amok. I'm not sure how that happened, actually. I'm honestly not sure how that happened, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to start running my legions through. I'm probably doing this a bit prematurely because there's still units in the back, but it doesn't matter because if he uses all these pikes to stop my legions running through, he will have no pikes left to stop my chariots from hitting the flank, which is fine. So it's alright if my legions do die. It'll take Pontus a while to kill them, and I've still got plenty of archfire coming in on his infantry units. I probably should have moved them and repositioned them maybe to the flank a bit more, just to draw some cavalry away, and then we could strike. As you can see, here comes a strike from Margie Blizz, but Hades has got Pila ready on these back units. He's going to reinforce, he's going to make a counter charge, and I'm going to start coming in on the flank here with this chariot unit here. I didn't use all my chariots just yet, just in case it didn't set up well. I wanted to conserve them to have waves. I'll just point that out. Sometimes if you overcommit your chariots, they can all go amok and they don't cause enough damage, and it gives the enemy time to regroup. So it's why I started with one, and if it goes off well, I'll commit the rest. That's what I'm doing here, and as you can see, it works out well. There's quite a bit of a rout over here from Hades' side. I'm just going to go straight through the front this time, and I'm going to keep this unit going to the back, and I'm going to bring this one around. So we've got chariots in the back, on the front, and cav and infantry pushing. As you can see, these guys are starting to mass rout. As you can see, the chariot goes amok here, so that's why I didn't commit all at once, because when that happens, sometimes they all go amok and you can't use them for later on, and that would be crap if that happened. So as you can see here, because he's doubled up his numbers a bit, Boo Boo has managed to turn the infantry fight, but I've still got enough legions to keep him occupied, and as you can see, the battle plan has gone off perfectly because their cavalry, well, it's regrouped now, but it's been severely mauled, and their infantry's got no guard against chariots in the flank and other chariots here, which I'm going to get rid of these units with. I'm going to send the rest of the chariots around, and we've got a mass rout on Rome. So Pontus is on its own now, and Pontus on its own basically means Pontus is screwed, because Pontus can't really do diddly squat on its own with just infantry. So yeah, I'm going to keep my chariots going, just get rid of the cav, because that could be a nuisance if it come back, and I'm just going to keep pushing through here. As you can see, Hades got some infantry fighting on these guys here, so I'm going to take my pikes in here. These guys' morale will be depleted. They've been shot all this time by archer fire, and going to send my chariots in, and there you go. There's two of them gone there, just like that, from the chariots. I'm just going to keep pushing. These guys are actually free now. They've killed most of my legions. So I'm just going to pull back here. I've got a couple of legions which I flanked around here. They're in a bit of a messy formation, however. But it's keeping two of those guys busy, and it's turned their backs to me, so archer fire is coming into their back. And I'm just going to send my chariots through here, and as you can see, it's actually doing a lot of damage. He hasn't caught me with his pikes, so I'm just going to keep charging in. My chariots are pretty probably thinned out and depleted now, but Hades is going to come in with his cav, and these pikes are going to die. The chariots have caused them to lose a lot of formation too, so they've kind of dropped to swords. And with Hades' cav coming in, that puts an end to Pontus and their pikes there. So it was a pretty good battle, an interesting battle. I always like when I play with Boo Boo, because he uses like this. Usually he'll use the Seleucids unless I steal them from him, in which case I did in this battle. Now I can't actually show you the result screen because the host terminated the game before it ended, but both me and Hades had about 1,450 kills each. My chariots had very high kills, and my archers had very high kills, and actually a few of my legions got quite a few, but mostly that was from the Pila, because they killed quite a number of men on that front row of the Pila. But that was basically the result there. So yeah, it was about 1,470 kills for me and about 1,450 for Hades. So very, very close kill counts. It was pretty decisive, really. Basically, my build was built around kind of taking advantage of Pontus's weakness to missiles and Pila. So I had a lot of archers. I had a lot of to legions there, which I wanted to use the peeler on, and I was just going to use Testudo and try and draw him in or bait him, and he took the bait there, the infantry fight, and that allowed Hades to just push forward unopposed, and it allowed me to set up my chariots on the flank where I could get a mass rout going there on my flank pretty easily there, and it worked out very, very well. So I mean, in 2v2s, sometimes I just like take very occasionally I'll take legions and chariots and things with the Seleucids because it's different. It's pretty easy to tell when a player's doing that though, because you know that the Seleucids should have very high numbers if they're using pikes because of the 121 men in each pike unit. So if you see a Seleucid player's got like 1800, 1900, you know he's probably got like 14 pikes and 6 cataphracts. But if you see him and he's got like 1300, then he's probably got like legions and chariots. So it's a good way to kind of address that. But yeah, this basically was just a setup here. I got a good counter on Pontus. I was able to take advantage of Pontus's weakness to missiles in this fight, and that put me in a good position against Boo Boo, and that allowed the setup for the chariots. And Hades was just able to build his attack through the centre, get good cavalry charges, good peeler duels, and just build it up in a typical Roman fashion. And basically we set the rhythm there. We had better builds, I think, in all honesty. We countered the other players very well. And it was a really nice game. So great game to Hades, Margie Blizz, and Boo Boo, aka Immortus of IIW. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon next time.